Have you ever wondered why some people believe that Palau is part of the Philippines? Well, it's an intriguing paradox that has left more than a few people scratching their heads. You see, Palau, officially the Republic of Palau, is a scenic archipelago with more than 500 islands. It's located in the western Pacific Ocean, a region known for its diverse marine life and unique island formations. Now, if we were to pull out a map and look closely, you'd find Palau sitting over 1,000 miles east of the Philippines. That's roughly the same distance as between New York City and Miami. Yet despite this considerable distance, there are whispers, debates, and even some firmly held beliefs that Palau should be considered a part of the Philippines. This belief isn't just a random thought that popped into someone's head one day. It's a perspective that's deeply rooted in a blend of geographical, historical, and cultural factors. It's a viewpoint that has been shaped by centuries of shared history, migration, and even political influences. All these elements have intertwined to create a compelling narrative that makes people question the conventional boundaries that we've drawn on our maps. But what does it mean for a place to be part of another? Is it a simple matter of geographical proximity? Or does it go beyond the physical and delve into the intangible bonds of culture and history? It's a fascinating question, isn't it? A question that challenges our understanding of nationhood and identity. A question that, at its core, reflects our innate human desire to connect, to belong, and to understand our place in the world. So, what could be the reasons behind this interesting belief? What threads of history, culture, and politics have woven this intriguing tapestry of connection between Palau and the Philippines? Well, my curious friends, it's time to don our explorers' hats and dive into history. Let's unravel this enigma together. Let's embark on a journey that takes us beyond borders, beyond the lines drawn on a map, and into the heart of what it means to belong. So what could be the reasons behind this interesting belief? Let's dive into history. The historical connections between Palau and the Philippines are intriguing, to say the least. Diving into the pages of history, we find that both Palau and the Philippines were once under the rule of the Spanish Empire. This was a time when the map of the world was being redrawn by European powers, and the distant islands of the Pacific were no exception. During the 16th century, the Spanish began their process of colonization. They embarked on a series of expeditions, sailing across the vast Pacific Ocean and establishing their rule over numerous islands. The Philippines and Palau were among these territories. For over 300 years, the Spanish influence seeped into the culture, politics, and economy of these islands. Interestingly, during this period, Palau was administered as part of the Philippines. This was not a mere administrative decision, but a strategic move by the Spanish authorities. By grouping these islands together, they could consolidate their power and control over the region. However, the winds of change were always blowing. The Spanish-American War at the end of the 19th century marked a turning point. The defeat of Spain led to the Treaty of Paris in 1898. This treaty, which ended the war, also led to a reshuffling of territories. The Philippines was ceded to the United States, while Palau, along with other Pacific islands, was sold to Germany. This marked the end of the shared colonial history of Palau and the Philippines. But the historical ties that were formed during those 3 centuries of shared colonial rule still resonate today. So the historical ties are clear, but what about the cultural connections? Now, let's delve into the rich tapestry of cultural similarities between the two nations. When we speak of the Philippines and Palau, it's like talking about 2 branches of the same tree. Their languages, for instance, share a common root in the Austronesian family, with numerous words and phrases strikingly similar, if not identical. Moving on to traditions, both nations celebrate a unique blend of indigenous customs and influences from external cultures, be it Spanish, American, or Asian. This fusion is beautifully reflected in their vibrant festivals, music, dance, and even in their day-to-day life. Another striking similarity lies in their customs. Both Palauans and Filipinos place a high value on kinship and respect for elders, a testament to their shared ancestral values. These cultural ties, the shared language, traditions, and customs, further strengthen the notion that these two nations are intrinsically linked. These cultural ties further cement the belief of some that Palau is part of the Philippines. But what does modern politics have to say? It's time to explore the political perspectives on this intriguing theory. Let's delve into the politics. The international community, spearheaded by the United Nations, recognizes Palau as a sovereign state. This recognition came in 1994, after a long journey of colonial history and transitional periods under the United Nations administration. Today, Palau stands as an independent nation with its own government, constitution, and a seat at the United Nations table. To the world at large, Palau is not a part of the Philippines, but a separate entity altogether. But what about the Philippines' stance? Officially, the Philippines also recognizes Palau as a sovereign state. This recognition aligns with international law and diplomatic norms. It's important to remember that recognizing another country's sovereignty doesn't mean denying historical, geographical, or cultural ties. It simply means acknowledging their right to self-governance and respecting their boundaries, both literally and figuratively. However, it's not all black and white. In the realm of politics, there are always different viewpoints. Some factions within the Philippines may argue for a closer integration with Palau, citing shared history and cultural ties. Others might oppose this, pointing out the importance of respecting Palau's sovereignty and the potential complications that could arise from such a move. The political perspective, therefore, is a complex one. It's a delicate balancing act between acknowledging historical ties and respecting sovereignty. It's about navigating the fine line between what is legally recognized and what some people may feel due to shared history and culture. So where does this leave us? The political perspective doesn't provide a clear-cut answer to whether Palau is part of the Philippines. Instead, it adds another layer of complexity to the belief. It reveals a dynamic interplay of history, culture, and politics, which continues to shape the relations between Palau and the Philippines. As we can see, the political perspective adds another layer of complexity to this belief. Before we go further, a quick reminder. If this intriguing journey into the ties between Palau and the Philippines has caught your interest, ensure you don't miss out on future content. Simply hit that subscribe button. Now let's continue our exploration. So, is Palau part of the Philippines? Here's the verdict. We've journeyed through a fascinating exploration of history, culture, and politics to answer this very question. We've dissected the intriguing paradox that surrounds Palau and the Philippines and delved into their shared historical ties. We've unraveled the cultural threads that bind these two regions together and examined the political perspectives that shape their relationship. Let's take a moment to recap our findings. We kicked things off by delving into the paradox that has sparked so much debate. Why do some people believe that Palau is part of the Philippines? We discovered that this belief is rooted in the shared history and cultural connections between the two regions. We then turned back the clock to explore the historical ties that bind Palau and the Philippines. From their common pre-colonial heritage to their shared experiences under Spanish and American colonial rule, these ties have left an indelible mark on the identities of both regions. We also explored the rich cultural tapestry that weaves Palau and the Philippines together. The languages, customs, and traditions shared by the people of these two regions speak volumes about their deep-rooted cultural connections. These similarities, we found, are more than mere coincidences. They are echoes of a shared past. But history and culture are only two pieces of the puzzle. We also had to consider the political perspectives that shape the relationship between Palau and the Philippines. And here, things get a little more complicated. While there are those who argue for a closer integration between the two, in the world of international politics, Palau is recognized as a separate, sovereign state. So, what's the verdict? Well, while there are undeniable historical and cultural ties between Palau and the Philippines, the political reality is that Palau is an independent nation. This means that, despite the shared past and cultural connections, Palau is not part of the Philippines. But remember, things are rarely black and white, especially when it comes to questions of history, culture, and politics. So while we've answered one question today, there are countless more waiting to be explored. And that's the beauty of knowledge. The more you learn, the more you realize there's so much more to discover. And with that, we wrap up our exploration of whether Palau is part of the Philippines. We hope you've enjoyed this journey as much as we have, and that it's sparked your curiosity to learn more about the fascinating world we live in. Subscribe for more amazing content. Keep wondering. Don't miss out on future explorations and discoveries. Hit subscribe and ring the bell to stay updated with our new content. Your journey of wonder continues with every video. Stay connected and engaged on social media. Continue the conversation, follow us. Thank you for being a part of the Have You Ever Wondered community. Keep wondering, keep discovering. Until next time.